I'm welcoming Aidan Mercer, uh, Marketing Director from Building Smart International, to talk with us about Building Smart, IFC, BSDD, and all the other stuff. I'm really happy you're here, Aidan. Go ahead.
Well, thank you very much. And I think it was a great introduction from Emma to give us a sort of understanding about some of the standards and some of the relationships related to the standards and some of the industry perspective that we see. A lot of this stuff that's mentioned is about getting the industry out of their comfort zone. And I can honestly tell you, standing here in a 360 actually takes me out of my comfort zone. I'm not sure I've ever done this before, so apologies if I don't make eye contact with any of you throughout this presentation, but I'll do my best. Did the word gobbledygook translate into Romanian at all? Because I heard Emma said gobbledygook. I just wanted to make sure that there's some nodding heads here. Is there a Romanian word for gobbledygook? Okay, well. Okay, so, well, thank you so much for having me. My name is Aidan Mercer. I'm the Marketing Director of Building Smart International. I've had my sort of pleasure to work with the Romanian chapter. Very nice to see a lot of you here, see the development, the growth of this, and I've been pretty much watching BIMcon since the days of COVID, right? We were talking a bit about that from the castle I watched it, and I've been very interested to be here myself, and it's really a pleasure for me. So, yeah, I'm going to talk a bit about the Open BIM impact. I know that there was a little bit around the impact of Building Smart around the world, but I really started thought around how we're making such an impact in the global industry today, and following on from some of the things that Emma mentioned. Does this advance or not? It's possible that it doesn't. Yes, okay. So, yeah, I haven't got a bit about me, but I've been at Building Smart International now for 6 years. Prior to that, I was at Bentley Systems for 10 years, so, you know, sorry for that, but you can't always undo everything in your life. But I've also, before that as well, been working in various software organizations. So I come from a very software-centric background, but I really do believe in the power of things that Emma was talking about, how the industry is really the custodian of the things that we talk about, and that actually IFC is a really fantastic opportunity for us as an industry, for you guys, to let us know at Building Smart International how it should be developed. From what Emma mentioned, we are really in a transitionary phase. You know, we're going to hear from Greg a bit tomorrow around IFC 5. We've had a lot of developments. I'm going to talk a little bit about that, and I can already see I'm going off topic and also off time. So let me get started. So we have a very good core mission at Building Smart International. Of course, that is supported by our chapters. We believe in this exchange of information, like Emma talked about, trusted information across the whole industry. We maintain and support the adoption of these standards and services around the world. And then, of course, we aim to ensure that those deliver efficiencies within the market. So really trying to make sure it's more productive, sustainable, and profitable for the industries here, because as you saw from what Emma presented, there is huge opportunity in the information that we develop in gaining real value for the industry. Sorry, I'm still... Is it me or is it there? Sorry, okay. Not so clear on the screen, but a bit of history about Building Smart International. We're sort of 30 years now in the making from a group of organizations that got together and said that we can do this better as an industry. So this formed the International Alliance for Interoperability, the IAI, which is a bit of a mouthful. But really the core fundamental principles of what they got together that day are still here today. They decided that we needed a better name to describe that. So Building Smart was coined in 2005. And if I fast forward to 2013, Building Smart International was founded as they hired a professional chief executive to really professionalize this, because prior to that, it had all been voluntary based. Also, IFC was officially approved in 2012 as an international standard. That was obviously very important. And then we really see the acceleration of these standards and services in 2020 when we published our technical roadmap. We're essentially, at Building Smart International, following a lot of these principles in the technical roadmap because we're in this transitionary phase. So a lot of things we talk about, the Open BIM workflow, really go back to this publication of this document in the technical roadmap, and this really leads into IFC 5. We also published a strategic roadmap, which really looked at how we get there for the investment. So what's the industry context? Well, we really believe that in more sustainable, less expensive buildings and infrastructure, we do this through optimized decision-making and automated efficiencies. Actually, the standards we're developing around improving automation. We heard a bit around AI. We think that having this is a really good tool, but we really need to have the ability to structure that information and automate these things. Information needs to be accessible and open for all. And we do this through these digital standards, as we mentioned. Next slide, please. Have I got the wrong clicker? Is that why? It's perfectly possible. No. I'm very sorry about this. It's definitely not working. Okay, it's a build, so, okay. It's a complex organization, but we work in a variety of different ways. Okay. At the core of Building Smart International, we're supported by our members. We operate various different domains, which really looks at the working groups that you have structured here at Building Smart Romania. And in that, we have stakeholders that get together to develop standards that are common across that industry. Supported by our chapter network. Great to have Steen here from the Norwegian chapter. You can hear a bit about some activities happening there as well in the European Forum. And we have partners and strategic groups that help develop some of the content that we need. We have an implementers forum, which is really where the technical people get together and tell us how things should be done. And we have projects that are split out into 3 different ways. So strategic projects, which really look to follow the strategic roadmap and the technical roadmap, as I mentioned. Domain projects, which have been existing for a long time. And accelerator projects as well, which I've got an example a little later on. Okay. Some of our members, you'll recognize some of these organizations, but this is essentially what keeps us going as an organization. These organizations really commit time, resources, and funding to help keep this entity going. We have 10 sector-facing domains. Our most recent one was the maritime domain. These are where these stakeholders get together and develop the standards that we have today. So a lot of the good things that we've had at Building Smart International, like IFC 4.3, which is really the extension into infrastructure domains, came through these sector-facing domains. So a lot of really good work has come out of that. We also have a few more discussions around at the moment around other domains that we're working on, so power transmission, water, healthcare, and energy. We do need a series of organizations from across our global community to actually come together to develop these, so they're not easy things to get off the ground. We have strategic groups. I lead one of them in the digital twin sector. We've just recently published some information around that, but we also have topics around sustainability and BIM and GIS. Obviously, this event also has a component focusing on GIS as well, and a bit of my background around GIS, so I'm obviously quite keen for that one to continue to develop, and we work with OGC around that as well. We have 36 chapters, actually. I was talking to Stefan yesterday. When I joined 6 years ago, I think there was 15, so there's been 21 new chapters in the last 6 years, something like that. Recently, we've added Ecuador, you'll see on the map for South America, so we have Brazil and Ecuador now, and more organizations from there coming. We had our first African summit in Morocco as well. But of course, these national chapters really help for things like this to actually connect, to build the mission for Building Smart and make sure that we're going in the right direction. We have 16 international partners. Might just be worth mentioning, we signed 2 MOUs recently, the Industrial Digital Twin Association, the IDTA, but more importantly, the Alliance for Open USD, which is an initiative that is going to be quite aligned to IFC 5, and I think Greg will mention that a bit later. But those 2 partnerships really important in developing some of the standards we're doing as well. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Okay, so anyone here in Marrakesh? Anyone here been? 1, 2, 3, 4, few hands out. It seems like the Marrakesh people stayed on this side, and I've got some summits to come to. But anyone else been to a summit at Building Smart International Summit, or you've seen it? Okay, so there's some hands. Dean, obviously, yeah. Okay, so summits are a really great opportunity for the international community to get together. We had our first summit in Africa, which was great. We've got the Fez hats, really nice. But it's a really nice opportunity to connect to the international market. I know it's not always possible. It's expensive, it's time-consuming, all the rest of it, but please try to convince some of your organizations that it's a good investment because you'll enjoy the community. We're also turning them into more learning experiences. So what we talk around BSDD, we're actually doing workshops on BSDD. How do you get the most out of BSDD? How do you query the IFC schema within the BSDD? How do you develop dictionaries that support your market, those types of things? So they're going to become more hands-on in the future. And actually, you'll see the bottom left image there is actually part of our summits now. You can come and take the certification for a foundation and get your certificate. So go to the summit, come back with some level of training and learning, and take that back to your market.
we actually had a Romanian project award that actually in the finalists at Marrakesh was a first for our country. So just wanted to add that.
Exactly. So, and thanks to you for pushing that forward. And I think that's a really great level of maturity that we see in Building Smart International, that sees that projects in country are getting to that level of excellence at the international scale. So, congratulations. And I think brilliant. You must all be proud that there's something now on that international stage, which is really good.
We need to encourage it, and we need more people applying and working on cool projects.
Yep, so we'll be in Berlin in October, so if you fancy a trip, get your submissions in, get your projects in, and we'll look forward to seeing you there. How am I doing for time? Not too bad. Okay, this is our board, our strategic council, so a lot of the decisions that we develop at the center and the core, we do at Building Smart International with the support of these organizations. I have to say, even with some of the software organizations that contribute, they're very passionate about making sure that everything we develop is beneficial for the industry as well. So I think the alignment with the industry is getting really strong right now. But OpenBIM, why is it important? So we're going to talk a little bit about the OpenBIM workflow, but yeah, it's essentially as a way, like Emma mentioned, which is that actually information should be defined away from software organizations, and actually things like IFC and the IDS standard are actually a really good way for doing that. So OpenBIM is actually an opportunity for that vendor-neutral, interoperable digital workflows that we really believe in. And that's why we see it's growing so much in the market at the moment. And we put out a blog yesterday on our channel, which has really taken off again. Every time we do this basic description about what is OpenBIM, why is it important, go and check it out. It's had more clicks and views than any other post we've had for ages. I mean, it's amazing that actually this actual keyword is so important, and that's why the impact of it's so good as well. And that brings me to the OpenBIM workflow. So Emma talked a bit about the IDS, the Information Delivery Specification, which has formally become a standard. Just a quick show of hands, who's developed an IDS? Okay. Yeah, it's not too many. Who's interested in developing one? Okay. So we've got some people, yeah, okay. We've got some people interested, so there's opportunities here, but actually the lowest thing that I can say about IDS is that I created one. So if I can do it, absolutely everyone in this room can do it. I am not a technical person, but I created an IDS. I went online. I felt like if I'm going to talk about it, I should do it. I used some of the free tools that we publish that are disclosed by vendors. We publish that on our site. There are some free tools out there. You can query the BSDD, so that's what I did. I went onto our website. You can query the BSD. It's all free. It's all open. And I created an IDS. I don't know what exactly it meant or what it's useful for, but at least it was good for me. I was able to develop some of these things. So I recommend you do it yourself. With that, you then produce some information against that IDS, which is the IFC file, essentially is the model. You can, with the OpenBIM workflow, you can communicate, collaborate that, share topics related to the things with the BCF, and then you can exchange that information using the OpenCDE. So we've been developing this workflow that allows you to require, produce, review, and deliver information. I mentioned the BSDD. That's a way of referencing the IFC schema, utilizing the terms and types, and then that can be validated. So the validation service is also something that is freely available and open for people. Validate.buildingsmart.org, upload your IFC models there, and validate that against the IFC standard. So this is a really powerful tool that actually shows that if you define your requirements with IDS, produce the IFC model, and validate that on validate.buildingsmart.org, you can get a clear picture, 100% accuracy, is this IFC model valid or not? So really important part of the OpenBIM workflow there. Within that, we have some enablers. We have the use case management service, which is actually a place to publish best practice. We have our software certification program, which supports the software. We talked, I think Emma mentioned, actually at the moment, we expose too much of what's not correct around IFC at the moment. So we're really reshaping that to make sure it's much stricter, it's much more consistent and reliable. Software certification is definitely an area we'll be improving a lot. We have our professional certification program, and we also have our accelerator program as well. I'm going to skip through these because I've got 3 minutes left. I don't want to be over time, but you can share these slides afterwards. I've got some definitions about what these things are. I'm not going to read them. Of course, Emma's already talked about IFC, so she already knows a lot more than me about these things, so I won't read those to you. But there's some descriptions, some links to the website as well. I've also put some QR codes. Just to mention, we've redone the web pages on these. You can actually now, as I mentioned, search directly into the IFC schema for this fire rating. You can have a look. you can query that back and actually do that directly.
Can you
on our website.
please talk a little bit about BSDD a little bit more? Just we had that question in there, so explain what it does when it's useful. BSDD.
Yeah, so if you're developing your IDS schema, you need to understand what is in the IFC schema itself, and BSDD is a really good way of doing that. It also includes the terms, the types, it describes those things within the BSDD. You can search directly in there. As you're developing your IDS, for example, it will allow you to put those specific things in. There's a tool inside the IDS which makes sure that you actually connect that back to the IFC. It won't let you put a term in that's incorrect, for example. Everything has become very strict. And BSDD, again, free set of interconnected dictionaries. So we encourage national organizations that can develop those for your country. So you start to understand what is required within your industry. That can be a dictionary within there, for example. But essentially, it's an entry portal into those things. So we're not the custodians of the data dictionaries. We manage the data, but we're an entry portal into a variety of dictionaries that are important. And I think Menno's got an example from the Netherlands where you're developing a sort of national one that would be really useful for people to, again, what is something that's required within Netherlands for fire rating, developing that content there. So it's really a sort of industry effort as well. And it can be translated. So basically, Menno's done all the work for you. All you have to do is translate it. Otherwise, it'll be gobbledygook to me. Is that okay? Yeah, I'm sorry. I realize I'm probably going to run out of time in a second, so sorry about that. Okay, and just a quick update on the professional certification. We have 4 elements of it. Entry, you can go online and just try it. Try a few questions today. It's free. Just gives you some sort of insights into some of the concepts that we talk around OpenBIM. We have our foundation course, our management, and our practitioner. On the way we describe that on the roadmap, entry, thousands of badges published every day. People go in and just try it out, test a couple of questions. Foundation, it's available, it's open. It's available at our summits as well, and of course through the chapter. We recommend you work with the chapter on developing your core competencies there. We have some work being done on the management, so helping to support things like the ISO 19650 process. And we recently launched the practitioner element at the summit, which was great. So this is really honing on that OpenBIM workflow diagram that I showed. How do I get expertise in developing an IDS using BSDD, these types of things? So sort of we're supporting the development of that from a learning and education point of view. And then really quickly on the accelerator program is something that we've developed to make sure we support industry on these things. Sometimes we get big organizations that come to us and say, we need help, actually. How do we get help? We've got experts in the industry we can connect them to and support them with this OpenBIM workflow development. And here are a couple of organizations we've worked with. We've just recently delivered the Fehmarn project, which was the largest infrastructure project in Europe, connecting Denmark with Germany. And they said, we really need some help developing our strategy around IDS, essentially. So we work directly with them with a discovery workshop. We put out the scope of work, and essentially we connected experts, like we have Menno and these types of people. We connected experts to actually say, this is how you deliver this and do this. So you're not alone, big project, complex, we can do that for you. And we've just delivered the work, essentially. We had a final call on Tuesday, actually, with the team, and they're really happy after a year's set of work to develop these IDS files for this major project. We also see a rising number of global IFC mandates, obviously things that Emma talked about, this being really powerful and important. I hope that there will be one in Romania soon. That'll be
working on it.
Working on it, exactly. As a result, we've published this global IFC mandates document. I'll be refreshing that every 3 months or so, 4 months, 5 months, whenever I get a new mandate in there. So I'm hoping to add Romania at that point, but please check it out. It's on our website. We publish this. We hope it's useful and valuable for organizations to see that and see that what's happening in country is also being replicated. We also have other various documents that we publish. We have a publications page. Again, we've just published a Digital Twins white paper, our annual report and awards brochures and things. And of course, we'll have the Romanian project in there next year for those, so please check that out. Finally, if you want to come and join us at a summit, we'll be in Singapore in March, so we're a lot of planning for that at the moment. And of course, Berlin, which might be a little bit closer as well. Apologies for going a bit over time, but thank you so much for your attention, and thank you for having me here in Bucharest.
Thank you.